Hey there, Silver Recaps here. Watch out. The story begins with a haunting image, a close-up of an eye. Inside the eye, a mysterious black substance spreads, hinting at something unnatural. The scene shifts to the shoreline of an ocean, where a young woman named Ran is spending time with her brother. Ran enthusiastically suggests, "Let's go diving." Her brother hesitates, reluctant to join, but eventually gives in to her insistence. The narrative then takes a sharp turn. Ran is now shown in a dark room with black liquid oozing from her eyes. This eerie visual sets the tone for the unfolding mystery. Ran is revealed to be a researcher, working on an advanced experimental drug based on nanotechnology. The drug, delivered in liquid form through the eyes, transports users into a virtual reality, a dreamlike world. In this alternate reality, time moves differently. Years in that world equate to only minutes in ours. Ran is shown standing before a committee, seeking approval for her experimental drug. However, the committee firmly states, the drug cannot be approved until further testing is conducted. This decision leaves Ran disappointed, but determined. Ran reflects on the fact that this experiment originally belonged to her father, and she has taken it upon herself to carry forward his unfinished work. After this, Ran visits her brother, the same one we saw earlier in her dreamlike world. In reality, he is lying in a coma, unresponsive. In a desperate attempt to save him, Ran secretly administers the experimental drug into her brother's eyes. At this point, using the drug on any human is strictly illegal, but Ran is willing to take the risk. She watches the monitor, hoping for some sign of life, but there is no change. The drug seems to have no effect on her brother. Ran recalls the incident that led to his condition. A while ago, at her insistence, her brother went diving in the ocean. However, the strong waves pushed him into a rock, causing the injury that left him in a coma. Ran's father understands the painful reality, that her brother's condition is beyond recovery. He believes the only way to free him from his suffering is through mercy killing, to let him go peacefully. However, Ran refuses to accept this truth. She is determined to use her experimental drug to bring her brother back to life and pull him out of the coma. Ran's motivation is not only to save her brother, but also to overcome the deep guilt she has carried since the diving accident. She becomes even more resolute in her mission to perfect the drug at any cost. With the help of an engineer, Ran begins programming different locations into the drug's coding, each representing unique virtual realities. Following these codings, she travels to these locations for further research and experiments. Ran works alongside her friend Sam, with whom she co-founded a company dedicated to these experiments. This company is responsible for conducting all the tests and is the primary source of funding for their research. Sam is eager to complete the testing phase quickly so they can launch the drug into the market and secure its commercial success. However, there are still significant flaws in the drug that need to be addressed, leaving Ran with limited time and mounting pressure. Ran decides to test the drug on herself once again. Being a passionate ice skater, she programs the drug with a virtual reality environment designed specifically for skating. After administering the drug, she finds herself in a dream world where she skates endlessly, enjoying the blissful escape. However, as the session's time limit expires, Ran doesn't return to the real world. She begins to panic, realizing something is wrong. Suddenly, the entire dream world starts to melt before her eyes, and the surreal experience begins to take a toll on her physical body in the real world. Sensing the danger, the engineer assisting her administers an emergency injection to pull her back into reality. Ran wakes up, terrified and shaken by the experience. This was her first encounter with a glitch in the drug, a critical flaw that makes her question its safety. Ran immediately confronts Sam and urges him to halt the drug's launch. She argues, "We can't release this drug until we fix these issues. It's not safe." However, Sam refuses, saying, "We don't have the luxury to stop now. If we delay, our investors will pull out their funding and the company will shut down. We'll lose everything." For Ran, the company's success or failure doesn't matter. Her sole focus is using the drug to save her brother. She wants to either bring him out of the coma or send him into a permanent dream world where he can be happy and free from suffering. Ran continues working tirelessly on the drug and finally identifies the glitch that caused her to get trapped in the dream world. After resolving the issue, she tests the updated drug again, this time on her brother. For a few brief seconds, the drug works, showing some signs of success. This gives her hope that she is closer to achieving her goal. However, her partner Sam learns about her unauthorized experiment on her brother. Confronting her, he says, "You need to focus on the company, not your brother. The launch date is just around the corner." Frustrated and angry, Rand storms out, unable to handle Sam's obsession with the company's success. Rand's personal life is also strained. Her relationship with her boyfriend has suffered due to her constant focus on work. After several days, she finally visits him, and the two spend some much-needed quality time together. Overwhelmed with emotions, Rand confesses everything about her experiment and the drug she has been working on. To share the experience with him, Rand administers a dose of the drug to her boyfriend, allowing him to experience the dream world. Her boyfriend thoroughly enjoys the surreal experience and returns to reality, impressed by the technology. However, while Rand is preoccupied with work, her boyfriend takes another dose of the drug on his own, eager to relive the dream world. This time, his condition deteriorates rapidly. He starts experiencing severe side effects, and Rand panics as his health worsens. Rand is terrified, knowing that if something happens to her boyfriend, the company's funding will be cut, leading to its closure. Worse, she could face legal action and imprisonment, as she is not authorized to test the drug on humans. Rand's partner, Sam, arrives and delivers the devastating news. Your boyfriend didn't survive. He's dead. He adds, "This will ruin us. The company will shut down and you'll end up in jail. There's only one way out. Sell this program and the drug to the government." Sam explains that the government is extremely interested in their project. He reveals that they plan to use the drug on prisoners and criminals to save money on incarceration costs. With this technology, they can send prisoners into a dreamlike world where they're trapped in their own minds, experiencing an entire year of imprisonment in just 1 minute of real-world time. It's a perfect solution, Sam says. However, to finalize the deal, Sam tells Rand, "You'll need to test it on yourself first. You'll be placed in a virtual cell, alone, for a year. There's no other option, Rand. Either agree to this, or you'll face prison in the real world." Reluctantly, Rand agrees, knowing she has no other choice. She administers the drug to herself once again, and this time, she is transported to a virtual cell, a small, stark room with nothing but a digital calendar on the wall. The calendar counts the days she has spent in confinement. As the days pass in the virtual world, Rand begins to experience the mental toll of isolation. With no one to talk to and no distractions, the experience feels like a severe punishment. Days turn into weeks, and weeks into months. The loneliness and monotony begin to break her spirit. Despite the unbearable solitude, Rand endures and finally completes her 355 days in the virtual cell. The next day, Rand prepares to wake up in the real world, but she notices that the digital calendar has reset again, starting over from the beginning. This realization is unbearable for her. She quickly understands that there is a glitch in the software, similar to what she had experienced during the skating simulation, where her engineer had to inject her to bring her back. Now trapped, Rand begins to lose control and starts banging on the walls in frustration. Suddenly, she notices a faint light coming from the other side of one of the walls. Following the light, she finds a way out, and to her shock, she realizes that this is not a dream, but reality. Rand understands that her partner, Sam, has betrayed her. After confronting the reality of her situation, she goes to the police and explains everything. The police respond, "According to our records, you went on a vacation to Paris a year ago and never returned." Rand insists, "I was held captive." She takes the officers to the location of her imprisonment, but they find nothing there. The absence of any evidence leaves Rand convinced that all of this is part of Sam's plan. After this, Rand meets her colleague, who informs her, "Your boyfriend is still alive." Overwhelmed with emotion, Rand rushes to meet her boyfriend. Seeing him alive fills her with immense joy. He explains, "Your partner, Sam, has become incredibly powerful. When he launched your drug program and experiments, it was a massive success. He's now so rich and influential that reaching him is nearly impossible." Rand, determined, responds, "I need to get into his office and recover all the data from the hard drive." Her boyfriend agrees to help her and accompanies her to Sam's office. They manage to reach the room where the computer containing all the data is located. However, they encounter the engineer who had previously assisted Rand by injecting her with the drug and sending her into the dream world. The engineer, now revealed to be working with Sam, spots them. Before the engineer can alert security, Rand's boyfriend quickly restrains him, allowing Rand enough time to recover all the data onto her hard drive. After securing the data, they escape from the office. Later, as Rand examines the recovered data, she notices that some glitches still persist in the drug's code. These are the same glitches that caused her to get stuck during her skating simulation. She fixes the glitches and goes to her brother, administering the drug into his eyes. Her brother wakes up, and Rand feels immense happiness. However, moments later, He begins to convulse and dies right in front of her eyes. Rand starts hearing strange noises behind her. She feels a sharp pain in her neck, as though something has pricked her. The next moment, she wakes up in the same lab where she had originally been sent into the dream world. She realizes that everything she experienced was a part of the drug-induced dream, nothing more than an illusion. In front of her stands her partner, Sam. Enraged, she punches him, but quickly regains her composure. Rand comes to terms with the reality that the drug is not ready for the market and decides it cannot be launched. She also learns the devastating truth that her boyfriend had truly died, and it was her drug that caused his death. Determined to leave everything behind, Rand decides to quit the company, taking all her research and data with her. The next day, Sam calls Rand and informs her that the glitches in the software and the drug have been resolved. He urges her to return and explains everything in detail, but Rand firmly refuses. She has no intention of continuing with the project. Rand's decision to quit means that Sam's company is on the brink of collapse, facing inevitable ruin without her involvement. Sam forcibly restrains Rand and injects the drug into her eyes, sending her back into the room with the digital calendar where the days are continuously counting. Realizing she will have to spend another year in this virtual prison, Rand initially loses control but eventually calms herself. As her mind stabilizes, the days on the calendar begin to fast forward, causing an error in the software which pulls her out of the dream world. Sam is stunned to see Rand escape the simulation. Before he can react, Rand injects the drug into Sam's eyes, trapping him in the same room, the same virtual prison where she had endured a year of torment. Sam finds himself completely unable to handle the isolation. Each day feels more unbearable than the last, but somehow he manages to complete the year. However, as the 365 days end, the calendar suddenly resets, starting back from day one. Trapped in a never-ending loop, Sam realizes he has to spend another year in isolation, a thought that completely breaks him. Back in the lab, Sam's physical condition begins to deteriorate. Rand observes him struggling, but decides to administer an injection to bring him back to the real world. When Sam regains consciousness, it takes him a long time to recover his senses, but the experience has left a profound impact on him. He finally understands just how dangerous the drug is and agrees to stop its development and launch. Rand, too, has a moment of realization. She understands how much her brother, who has been in a coma, must be suffering. Without life support, he wouldn't survive even 15 seconds. Her father had always insisted that they remove his life support to free him from this pain, but Rand had been unwilling to let go. Now, finally understanding what is best for her brother, Rand decides to disconnect his life support, freeing him from his suffering. And with this, the story comes to a close. We hope you enjoyed this emotional and thought-provoking journey.